Well, tell the people the correct spelling of your last name so
So
when they look you up, they'll know how to find you on Google.
I'm going to tell it to you, and then I'm going to hope Ricky can put together a little jingle to make it better.
I got you.
It's Whelan Chiropractic.
He told you one time, don't make him tell you again. Whlen. Christopher Whelan. It's my man.
He's amazing.
I'm Ricky Willis. You might have seen me on TV, and now I'm taking on the podcast world. Join me as we dive into stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I believe everyone has a story we can learn from. Let's talk about yours. This is the Clever Conversations podcast. What's going on, baby? It's your man, Clever, Clever Conversations. We in the building, baby. So today, I have the absolute pleasure of bringing to Clever Conversations a very dear friend of mine who's been in Savannah area for decades helping people. And one thing you're going to find out when we get into this, you're going to find out that he got your back, baby. Dr. Chris Whelan. What's up, man?
Hey,
How you
Ricky.
doing, brother?
Doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me here. This is a beautiful studio. I'm really impressed. This place looks great.
Man, listen, thank you. We appreciate you. It's our new thing, and we just trying to make it right, man. We can't have Dr. Whelan coming into some garbage,
Listen, Ricky, if anyone can run a podcast, you're a people person. This is amazing.
Thank you. So, Doc, with that being said, let's please talk a little bit. Give the people a brief synopsis on who Dr. Chris Whelan is.
Well, I'm a chiropractor here in Savannah. I love practicing here. It's such a great city. Pretty humble upbringing. We've been in practice here, I guess, for 27 years now.
27 years.
Yeah.
Almost 3 decades.
I know. And sometimes we've got some patients who've come in. We've seen the parents. We've seen their kids.
All
and now some of those
generations.
kids, yes, are starting to have little ones. So it's really remarkable, what we get to see in and out of the office. But I guess we've been here for about almost 30 years. Our office is right downtown in the historic district. We've got a great location. I mean, you've been in there before. I mean,
Yes.
I know I got to see
Yes.
your wife
And
in
my
there.
family.
And, yeah. And everyone has bad backs. There's always bad backs and bad necks. And I really feel truly blessed having to have the office where we do. I mean,
Yeah.
Savannah is such a great city. And it's still growing so much. I mean,
Good
I
stuff.
can't believe what it was like now compared to when we first started.
Yeah. So, born and raised in Savannah?
Nope. It's kind of a funny story. People don't really realize this. I was born in England. Yeah. Not Harry Potter but when I was a kid.
You sailed, chop.
But no
So you
tea
came to the
time.
States when you were...
A baby. I mean,
Okay.
my parents, they were actually over there. They were teaching abroad, and I think I ruined their vacation a little bit. But
Military family?
Nope. They
Okay.
were just teaching over there, and then
Okay.
never know when that stork is going to drop by, Ricky. So.
Never know, Doc. Never know.
And then, but yeah, we lived in Connecticut, and then we lived in Atlanta. I went to school in Pennsylvania, and then Savannah for the past literally 30 years.
So, in your adult life, where was the first place that first place you brought your home or got your first apartment? What city was that? Atlanta, Philly, Pennsylvania?
I would say it was in Atlanta. My wife and I, we got married in 1997, and I just finished up with chiropractic school in 96. And so, Atlanta is a great city. We loved it there. I'm a huge Falcons fan. Love the
That's
Braves.
a football team? I'm just messing up.
They try to be. No, I love them. I really do. Huge
Yeah.
fan. And, after being in Atlanta for a couple of years, we were there for the Olympics. We used to come to Savannah on vacation.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you think, why not set up an office or live where you go on vacation?
Right.
And so, we were lucky. We found, actually, this is another kind of interesting story, Savannah-wise. We were in a building on Tatnall Street, right downtown.
Downtown.
Yeah, right, Tatnall and Liberty.
That's one of the squares?
Not on one of the squares, like just right across the street from the old Civic Center.
Okay.
Or what is the Civic Center, but
Right.
soon to be
Gotcha.
old Civic Center. They've got still ice skating right now.
Yeah.
But the building was built in 1869 for Patrick Whelan, spelled the same way.
Any relation?
Not that I know of, but it's
Okay.
like the Whelan. You really don't see it too much, but
Right.
I used to tell the guys who owned the building that it was really mine, but
Any Patricks at all in your family?
no.
Okay.
St. Patrick, maybe. I mean, Irish.
So, if you, out of those places that you lived before, if you decide, you know what, I'm gonna retire, kick my feet up, and which one of those places would you think that you might go back to?
This will sound crazy, Savannah. I mean, I really do love it here. And
Yeah.
there's so much food. There's always great music.
Close to
There's
the
always
water.
events close to the water. I mean, it really is great. And I love the temperature. I mean, my daughter right now, she got married last summer. She's living in Alaska. And so they've got 5 feet of snow. It's 6 degrees.
Wow.
So
That's Alaska is where is like for a long period of time, daytime or on.
Yeah.
That's
so,
it.
but right now, so they're hitting that, I guess, that winter cycle, that winter solstice. So the sun doesn't come up, Ricky, till it's like 10 a.m. And so then it goes down at like 2:30, 3 o'clock. So yeah,
Wow.
it's not like there was that movie with the vampires, if
Yeah.
24 hours a night
Yeah.
or something.
28 days. I was wondering, man. I don't. That seemed to have to. I mean, I'm sure that could throw some people off. You wake
Oh,
up,
yeah.
you're like, I'm late for. Oh, man, it's just lunchtime.
That's what I would be. I mean, when you wake up with the sun, I mean, it's
I know, right? So, how many children do you have?
2 kids, my daughter Alicia, and then my son Reese. He's at school at Florida Southern down in,
Okay.
It's the school in between Tampa and Orlando. And he loves it down there. He's a great kid.
That's
great
cool.
kid.
How old are they?
He just turned 21. And
Party. But be safe and I don't know if you drink or not, but if you do drink responsibly.
he's a great kid. And
That's good.
actually, we were down there watching. He's a college swimmer. We went to watch one of his swim meets, and his birthday was 2 days after. He's probably going to kill me for talking about this on the podcast and stuff like that. But we wanted to be there on his 21st birthday. We went, said hello, and my wife actually went out with him and his college
that's
teammates
cool.
on his birthday. They had a great time. It was
That's
really
cool.
funny.
That's cool.
But then he came home for Thanksgiving, had a great Thanksgiving, and he's back down school, hopefully studying right now.
Hopefully he's studying. So, Doc, let's get into talking a little bit about your profession. Let's talk a little bit about your education going into chiropractic. So, after high school, what was the next move to get you to this part of your journey?
Great question, Ricky. I went to Villanova University. That's in Philadelphia, and they had won the basketball championship in 1985. And so I thought that looks like a great school to go to. Went there, loved it. Didn't play basketball, but no. I actually swam in college, and one of the things that I guess leads into this story is when I was practicing. I was only a sophomore in college. Did a start off the block. Did one of those fancy dives and pinched my back, and I could barely get out of the water. So then. Swam over to the side, could barely get out of the pool, and went back to the dorm room, laid in the bed, and had some Tylenol, but it was killing me. And my mom said, "Try going to see a chiropractor." I said, "What? What's a chiropractor?"
What's that?
And I found one right there in Philadelphia, and in probably about 7 or 8 visits, I felt great. Have never had back pain since then, which is a pretty good testament. And that's what I said, this guy's got it figured out.
Man, so you know the reward from that first-handedly.
Oh, yeah. I
chiropractic.
mean, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And, one of the things that goes hand in hand with chiropractic is they try to take a more natural approach to, healthcare and wellness.
Right.
And, so that's kind of where I was. I mean, I was a biology major in college, so it was an easy transition to switch over to, after I finished with Villanova, I went to Life University in Atlanta, which again, great city, and that's what brought us there. And you know, being there for it was about 3.5 years, 4 years. I worked for a couple of guys there, and then came here to Savannah.
So how was it when you decided I'm gonna do my own thing? How was that? What was the energy behind that? Decided, you know what? I'm gonna do my own thing.
Well, that's a great question because I worked for some super chiropractors when I was there, and I worked for Harry Brown actually, who has a practice, here in Savannah. But he was really helpful in getting me started, showing me the ropes, and I even played for the Arrowhead softball team. I mean, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
But you are right. When you decide to kind of take that first step to go out on your own, it's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So
Scary.
oh yeah, it's a panic button.
Yeah.
Where's everything going to come from? How are you going to pay the rent? How are you going to do this? And but I think you almost have to believe in yourself, and that's it. You take the risk. You put it all on the line, and I got some help. My wife's father helped us get an X-ray machine for the office. And actually, ironically, and this kind of goes back to the other story, the first office we were in, that Whelan building, the guys decided to make it just one big law firm. Okay. So we had to find another place to go. And there was a building on Abercorn Street. And people may remember it was a restaurant. It used to be the 606 Cafe, but then it was a place Good Eats.
Yep.
I was in there eating, and the two guys that were in there, they owned the restaurant. Delicious, delicious food, great place. And I was trying to figure out, well, where are we going to open up now? Like now that we've got this little practice and we're getting kicked out. I overheard them talking about, we're thinking about selling that building next door to ours. It's kind of rumble. It doesn't really have a roof. It's kind of abandoned. It's got rats in it and stuff. And this is back in the 90s, Ricky. So you remember what Savannah was like back then.
I do.
And when those guys were talking about it, it's like, so you're thinking about selling it? And Ricky, I was like Forrest Gump. I got out in the street. I ran down to Corbett Thomas and I said, how much?
What we need to do.
And it was amazing. It's just, sometimes I think success is a mixture of hard work and being lucky. And, that was clearly the case, just lucky, right place, right
Perfect.
time.
Timing is everything, Doc.
Yes. And,
Timing is everything.
And again, the girl who was working in my office back then is a girl, Victoria Mumford, super, super great. If she gets to see this podcast, I want to thank her very much because she helped us.
Thank you, Victoria.
Yes. She's a flight attendant now for Southwest Airlines.
Okay.
But her dad, Carl Mumford, he built out the whole place for me. And that's the way sometimes the world works. Yeah. Someone who who's working in the office, she says, well, my dad, does renovations.
There you go.
We've been in that building 25 years, and it's amazing. I love it.
I love it, too. It's nice and welcoming.
He used to answer the phone. Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
Dr. Mumford speaking.
He wasn't a doctor, though, was he?
No, he's the funniest contractor you can imagine, and he's got a son. We used to call him Little Carl, but he's a big buff dude. He's bigger than you and me put together. Man. And I was at his wedding a few years ago, just 4 years ago. Wow, time flies. And he still comes out, helps out, and fix up the building. That his dad built, like he put in all the walls, all the electrical, all the air conditioning, everything. It is great.
Well, that also says a lot about you too, Doc. Because the reality is, people are willing to help, but a lot of times that help comes with a check. Like, yeah. I'm willing to help you, but where you have people who are willing to help based on who you are, you're just a good quality guy. And I can say that because I've been knowing you almost 2 decades. So, it's been a long time.
Well, it was great. And like I said, I remember I heard you once say, and I'll see if I can remember the quote right. If you wake up broke, don't go to sleep.
Should have never went to sleep.
Don't go to sleep.
Yep.
And I think that was it. In that office, we did everything we could to get people in, bring people in, bend over backwards. And I think that's what,
Yeah.
contributed to the office.
And I think too is the part. I mean, a part of that is the quality of treatment people get, right? Because if people are not getting treated quality, or people don't feel like they're being treated fairly or getting what they need out of the treatment, they just won't come back. Like,
Oh yeah.
they won't come back. But when you have people, for example, I know somebody who was in an accident, and 15 years later, they want to go to Dr. Whelan. And so that says to me that whatever you did 15 years ago, right? Whatever you did 15 years ago, it made them feel and respect the fact that 15 years later, if he's practicing, that's where I want to go.
Wait, how can you say we're 15 years older, Ricky? We're the same age. We're exactly, we haven't gotten any older.
No, we're 21.
Well, I will tell you, and this is kind of a neat story. One of the first patients who came into the office when we were in the old building was a fella, Deacon Fuller. Super nice guy, worked on the port. He was a gearman. And he would come in. He was probably in his late 70s. And so he should have been retired, but he was over there working at that port. I mean, just pushing it.
Right.
And he would come in every once in a while, and he used to go to a Bible study group, and he bet one of the guys or a bunch of the guys in there that I wouldn't go out to lunch with him if he asked me. And he came in one day. He's like, yeah, you want to go grab some lunch? And I was like, sure, where you want to go? And he took me to every restaurant. We went to the House of Prayer. We went to Tampa. I mean, we went to so many Genevas. I mean, he took me all over Savannah. And once a month, I would meet him. And he was in his 80s and then even in his 90s. In his 90s, I kind of took over the driving part.
Right.
And he would bring other people, Bishop Ron Anderson, a bunch of guys. And it would just be a fun lunch. But I would hear stories about Savannah, what Savannah used to be like, how tough it was, what it was like on the ports, how much, I mean, they used to get paid like $25 a week or something crazy. Like,
wow,
he's old.
Yeah.
But
when you hear those stories.
Yeah. And just all about Savannah. And that's, to me, really made it a part of the community. And I became friends with his daughters, who are now, gosh, they're in their 60s or 70s now. And every once in a while, I have lunch with them. And
that's
it's,
cool.
Oh, yeah. And their kids that you become friends with. It's just, I think, and he used to say this, if you treat everyone like they're your family, you'll always be successful.
Yeah.
And sometimes families, you'll give and take.
Right.
But, that's it. I mean, you said it before when we played golf, that I'm your brother.
You're my brother.
I may be your goofy step brother, but.
Stop. I subscribe to the notion that you cannot pick your relatives, but you can pick your family.
That's true. That's a great saying.
You cannot pick your relatives, but you can pick your family. And so we're family. And you and Deacon Fuller.
Oh, Deacon Fuller, yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
Not relatives, family. You see? So that's I subscribe to that notion that you can.
Well, when you were saying, sometimes when people do come in the office after almost 30 years, sometimes when I'm in there, and you could probably tell by the podcast, I talk too much. So I get a little backed up in there. So sometimes, but I always think it's like Leopold's, where if you've got a line, you're doing okay,
I just think that you're such a people person that it makes it easy. It makes people, it's easy to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love being a chiropractor. Like I said, nothing is better than if someone comes in and they're in absolute, like, horrible, horrible pain, like can't get out of bed. Sometimes people be carried into the office. Give them a few visits, stretch them out. They start getting on their way. Once they start feeling better, it really is so rewarding.
So let's talk a little bit about the misconceptions or do's and don'ts for chiropractic. What would you think? I mean, what would you say is people have a misconception or not really understanding about chiropractors?
Well, I would say when I first started in practice, sometimes individuals or people don't always like the approach that, no medicine. I don't want to take any medicine, or that chiropractors are completely against medicine. But, some of my best friends are orthopedic surgeons or physical therapists. And, everything has a place. So
right.
I think, where if you need back surgery, if that disc is herniated or ruptured, um, even the best chiropractor would have a tough time. They may be able to get you out of pain for a little bit,
Right.
but sometimes you have to have that situation addressed. And so, I actually love the fact that we have so many physicians and doctors and dentists who are patients in the office because they realize, we're not going to challenge their approach to healthcare, and they understand if they've got a pinch or there's something bothering them, they're more than willing to come on in and see me to help them get through the 8 hours of surgery or 20 dental patients where they're bent over,
Right.
working on people. Another thing too, and it is kind of funny if you watch, and you're a little more technologically savvy than I am,
Probably
Ricky.
not.
But you've got all the different YouTube videos or the TikTok videos of just the people crushing people and just like turning their spines in half and jumping off tables. And that kind of stuff is a little more theatric than, what we do in our office. And, I think we get pretty great results without having to wrap a towel around someone's head. And
Two things for me, and I'm just like, I don't know. One is the towel and the snap. I've seen people do that. And I'm like, okay, so that could be technique or from my lack of knowledge, right? You could snap her. You could probably pull something apart there when you pull it like that.
Oh, you have to be so careful. I mean, the human body is very, very strong, but just like anything, you could have like a weakness. Like there was the poor girl in Richmond Hill, her suboccipital vessels.
Okay, one more time.
Her
what?
She had some vessels in the back of her head that I think when there was a chiropractor, he adjusted her, and he may have been a little too aggressive in his approach. I mean, I don't know the whole story or situation, but I know a young girl from Georgia Southern. So you have to be very, very, very careful, and you have to know what you're doing because
more important. Right?
Because you're 1,000% right. If you've got someone wrapping a towel around your neck,
WWF? What
I don't even think they go that hard.
What were you doing? So one of the misconceptions, I think, and tell me if I'm right. One of the misconceptions is that babies or infants or toddlers chiropractors can't help them. I've heard people say that baby is too little, but I've also heard people say, well, I took my baby to the chiropractor. Is that?
That's a great question. A lot of times, if you have a very healthy baby, perfect delivery, no problem, that baby is going to be okay. But sometimes, Ricky, and I'm sure you've seen it or heard about it, there are times where the baby may have turned or, it's a breech birth and they have to grab the head and it's really pulling and violently because at that age, the baby, I mean, those vertebrae haven't really ossified yet. They're very soft. There's a lot of cartilage in there. And so sometimes if you have something like that where the neck is torqued, I mean, we've seen it in the office and, you're not really going in and doing those big adjustments, but just some gentle palpation.
Massage.
Yes. Moving, making sure everything's where it's supposed to be. You can help out. Like we had, and this is kind of a crazy story and without any names or anything. There was an accident, a poor baby, not even 1 year old, fully, maybe 9 months old, in a car seat. Car gets totaled, flipped, and the baby had all this just spasm. And you couldn't even touch the baby, would be crying. And we went in, just gentle massage and just moving the body, nothing more. And mom sometimes will do it naturally just to make sure everything's okay. And, it can be scary because sometimes, and I believe maybe not as much a baby, but sometimes those childhood traumas that you have on the playground or falling out of a tree or jumping off the swing set can lead to sometimes your hips being a little off or the presentation of a scoliosis where your back curves a little bit.
Right.
So, chiropractic, everything has its place. And, we try our best.
What about pregnant women? Can you guys, because I heard no and I heard yeah. I mean, I heard you can't do the same as you would with a person that's not pregnant, but in a lot of cases, you guys can, however, help women that's pregnant that have back issues.
Oh yeah, Ricky, I will tell you, in our office, we see so many pregnant women that when they come in, you have to be extra careful. You know, they've got some precious cargo. They've got a beautiful baby in there. So you always have to make sure you're so gentle and delicate when you're doing any type of motion or manipulation because, you know, any pregnant woman will tell you sometimes they've had really bad sciatica because they put on 45 pounds in front
Right.
in a matter of 8 months. And so that puts a lot of pressure on the spine. So sometimes, and we see it, like I said, so many pregnant patients, we'll have them lay on their back. We could do some gentle movements with the hips, trying to stretch it out where it makes it easier for their delivery and can sometimes motion it because people don't realize that those hips do articulate and move like when you're walking or when you're standing. And all of a sudden you put all that extra pressure on there.
Right.
It could be difficult. Now, you're right on that. Like you can't have a 9-month pregnant woman laying on their stomach on
With
the
the
table.
towel?
Yeah, no. Maybe with gloves and hot water in case things get a little too close. But
Snap!
but yeah, no, we try to go extra careful and gentle with it, you know, any of those patients. And the best part about that really, and I will tell you, and I guess I can't mention any names per
No
se,
names, yeah.
but we had a patient, she just had a baby and she could come in, you know, while she was pregnant in horrible, horrible pain. I mean, it was killing her. She couldn't even do dishes, anything, making the bed.
Wow.
She was so happy to bring the baby into the office. Of course, all the girls in the office, you gravitate. It's just a beautiful baby. But like, she was so happy. She said to me, she's like, "Thank you for helping me get through that."
Yeah.
You know, and it's so
priceless.
rewarding. Oh my gosh. And the baby, just a beautiful baby. They named the baby Dr. Whelan. So
I thought the baby. That was my next thing. Did she? But see, if she'd have named the baby Chris, it could have worked either way, whether it was a boy or. You see what I mean?
I like that name.
You see, Chris is a cool name, right? What is one of the most the main reason that you see a lot of people? Is it accidents? Is it a slip and fall? Is it as merely as somebody putting something on a shelf and hurting themselves? What is the main source that you've seen people come in over your years?
I would say it's really a mixed bag. I mean, so many things cause back pain, neck pain. You know, it's funny, Ricky. Like, of course, there are some bad drivers in Savannah. I will tell you that. Some of these one-way roads and the squares, you know, that'll keep me pretty busy.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll see people. It's just like you said. You lift up something heavy, you turn the wrong way, you hadn't worked out for a while, you go work out, or it can be a combination of things. We had someone, I guess it was a few weeks ago when we first got that first cold snap. They moved all their plants inside. And they said, well, you know what? I was just picking up a few leaves and then my back went out. I said, well, how many plants did you move? About 40. I said, well, you know, that's, you know, it wasn't the little leaves that did it. It was moving 40 plants inside to get out of the cold. So, you know, it could be something as simple as that.
So, as far as chiropractic, there is two kind of chiropractic, like preventive maintenance type, and then if you are actually been injured. Some people, let me rephrase that. Do you recommend, is it your recommendation that even if you haven't been in an accident, that you could still see a chiropractor, like maintaining your body, just upkeep on your body? Do you recommend that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I remember you and I had this talk one time when we were, you know, playing golf. Like, you can swing at that ball, and if you hadn't been out playing golf for a while, you'll feel a little bit more. But what I always tell patients, you just have to listen to your body. I mean, your body's going to talk to you. It's going to let you know. And sometimes you don't have to have had an accident or had major trauma or even had like a real acute injury. Sometimes if you are feeling, you sleep funny, you sleep on the couch, you know, your wife makes you sleep on the couch.
Yeah. Please let me back to the bed.
But, you know, that type of thing, you know, we'll see patients who will come in, maybe just once every 3 months, once every 6 months,
Yeah.
just to get that spine aligned. Because I do think one of the best things about chiropractic, and, this is, a firm belief of mine, if that spine is working correctly, if it's completely aligned, you're going to feel better. You're going to work better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to perform athletically better. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of times you'll see like athletes will go see a chiropractor just so they can feel better. I mean, and actually, I think today is his birthday. Terrell Owens. He
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
great proponent of chiropractic. He was when he played, I think his last team for the Eagles. He was getting tackled left and right.
Right.
December 7th is today, right? That's his
Yes.
birthday. And a friend of ours would know his jersey number. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but you know who I'm talking about. He knows the
Yes.
jersey
He
number
knows
to every.
everything. He knows everybody.
But he would be on the side of the football field on an exercise bike, and then you would see a lot of the professional NFL teams all have chiropractors. Yeah, some of them have as many as 3.
Really?
And yes, and so he would always say, like, you want to get worked on so he could be loose when he was out there
Right.
playing.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
You got to put oil in the car to make sure that the engine, so that those pistons go through good. So
I'm
you
gonna
got
use that.
Yeah. Got to make sure you got some oil to keep them pistons moving, right?
Exactly.
So, what what would what would you recommend to somebody who's been in an accident, but say stuff like, "I don't want to go to a doctor."
I mean, we see it. Well, sometimes, Ricky, people are a little nervous of coming to our office if they do watch some of those crazy wrestling videos where they get
Right.
snapped in half and stuff like that. But so many times with an accident, particularly, your body's absorbing that trauma. You're getting hit, and it's just knocks you for a loop. And sometimes your adrenaline's flowing at the scene. You're mad at the person who hit you, so you don't realize how bad it. Like, for real, like, my new car.
I just bought this car.
But when they have that initial reaction. Sometimes they won't even go to the hospital that night, but they'll feel it the next day. And sometimes, I mean, as guys, I mean, just like us, what's usually I'm going to put it off. I'm fine.
I'm
I'm
all
fine. I'm fine. But sometimes it's good to get it checked out, because if you do have something knocked out of whack, or that is really an issue, whether it's a bulging disc or something like that, get it checked. I mean, it's a no-brainer, because you've seen actually those videos, like the crash test, the neck snaps, and you watch, like,
I've seen it.
yeah. I mean, if whatever is the amount of energy times the force, that's.
I gotta say that I've been to a chiropractor many years ago, and they will forever remain nameless. I left there feeling worse than I did before I went, but that pain stayed with me for days. So fast forward some years, then I come to see you. And so I still had a little bit of that nervousness, like, man. And I remember having the conversation that, okay, we're going to activate some muscles and tissues that hadn't been used in a while, to get up under the blade and all that kind of stuff. And I was amazingly pleased with what you did. And you took away the fear that I had of going.
Well, there's an old saying: the first visit is the worst visit.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Sometimes it's like when you work out after you haven't worked out for a while, like we were saying. But sometimes you have to take your time, with that back, because everybody's different. I mean, that is actually another great thing about, working in the office. Like, you never know. It's really a mixed bag. You never really know who's coming in.
Never know what you're gonna get.
Until you get. But he, when a patient comes in, or just like you said, like, if you've got that spasm, trying to work it out, getting that to feel a little bit better, and just taking our time. And, everyone's different in their approach, but like I said, take care of everyone like your family,
Yeah.
and you'll do all right.
Everything will be good.
Yeah.
As far as the back, and like the vertebrae and the ones and twos and spinals and discs, what is the most common injury as far as that part? Is it like a bulging disc, or is it like um vertebrae? Some I don't know. I don't really speak. I'm trying to act like I speak chiropractic here,
No,
but
you're great, Ricky. I mean, it's the fancy term for it, or technical term, is a subluxation,
okay,
but it's putting pressure on that nerve. So pinched nerve probably is the most of what I see.
okay,
And sometimes that nerve can be pinched so much, or that injury can be so bad, it causes that disc to bulge. And sometimes, if it's bad enough, if that was really bad whiplash, really bad trauma, or you tried helping your mother-in-law move her couch by yourself.
yeah, I got this.
But that could cause a herniation, and that's usually where we kind of guide you over to,
Yeah.
maybe an orthopedic surgeon. In Savannah, we've got so many great orthopedic clinics in here. I
We
think,
got some good
yeah, we
stuff.
really are, pretty fortunate too.
Yeah,
But that being said, it's usually that shifting of that vertebrae that'll do it. One of the things that's actually kind of cool talking about that mixed bag is we get to see a lot of the stunt guys from the movies they do here in Savannah.
yes,
And so those guys, if you ever are, and I'm sure you've probably been on a couple different sets of different TV shows and
Yeah,
commercials and stuff.
no.
When you watch those guys at work, it's unbelievable. They're like falling downstairs. They're, getting pushed
They
downstairs.
throwing their bodies around.
Fights. Yeah, like the fight scenes they do, they say, okay, here we go. Fight scene, first position, take 27. And these
Right.
guys have been like thrown all over the place. And that's actually a cool part, because those guys, I mean, they're getting beat up the whole time, and they really do appreciate, when a good chiropractor works on them.
Have you had opportunity to work on anybody that came, and without calling names, but have you had the opportunity to work on anybody that came to Savannah to shoot movies or do films?
Oh yeah, I mean I have to say, Ricky, we're also lucky being downtown. That when there is sometimes a production that's filming, and a lot of the stars, like, I know it's kind of maybe a Hollywood joke that they don't always do their stunts, but some of them really, really do,
Right.
and some of them really get into it. So we've gotten to work on a lot of different
That's cool.
athletes, but also actors that some who did a lot of dancing. No names.
No names.
But,
They would forever be nameless.
remain nameless.
Remain nameless.
And actually, that is really fun too, because when you get to hear their stories or their
That's
side of
cool.
what's going on, it really is amazing. And some of the guys, I will tell you, and these are some of the actors in some of the productions they filmed, they do like taekwondo, jujitsu.
To try to stay loose
Yes,
and limber.
and that blows me away too, because when you see them on the big screen, you never think that.
They're someplace like,
Yeah, that guy could really kick my butt.
he's really good.
I better do a good job.
So, let's talk about my golf brother. So, how was it when I first taught you how to play? When I taught you how to play golf the first, no, I'm just
Well,
clowning.
no, Ricky, I knew that your back would be sore because you had to carry me around that whole golf course.
Dog, that was me being dragged on the golf cart.
That was a great time because we were blasting the yacht rock as we were going
That's
from
right.
hole to hole. And,
My daughter, what's my favorite station? Telling you, that's Yacht Rock Radio.
that
baby.
got us through that was the that was that charity event.
That was charity hospital.
Yes, hospital helps.
Yeah, Hospital
And,
Health charity event.
But when we would go to each hole, you had that Hall of Notes between 17 and 18.
There we go.
had-
Listen, but you know what? When you think about music, for me, one of the reasons why I really like Yacht Rock Radio is because it's just a mixture of 70s, 80s good music.
oh, yeah.
It's like when music was music.
Well, do you think, like, some of those guys, when they wrote those songs, Ricky, that it would be playing 40 years later?
Never thought. So, Christopher Cross wrote Sailing, I think, in 71.
Wow.
And so my son-in-law was listening to I was playing it, and then my son-in-law came up while I was playing it, and he was like, "Oh, that guy stole a Savannah rapper music." I
Back
was
in
like,
the day.
this song was written before his mom was born, before this particular rapper's mom was born. So it's no way that then I played it for him. He was like, really? It's just a lot of sampling,
Well,
but they only sampling it because it's good stuff.
Yes, and that's actually some great songs that do sample from some of those, like that really do take off. I mean, you can find them all over on YouTube, but
Yeah.
that's to me, you're right. They take a great riff and run with it, and
Yeah.
sometimes make it better.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So I spoke with a Judge Tammy Stokes when I spoke with her.
Ah, she's great. Actually,
I love her.
She's wonderful.
Listen, I love you, and you didn't even pay me to say it. So she and I was talking about music, and so she tells me about this riff that I know you know. You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Oh,
Well, I didn't know that Big Mama Thornton wrote that.
really? No way.
I didn't know that. I thought it was an Elvis track.
Yes.
Yeah. So then I said, I gotta go check this out. So I went and checked it out, and Big Mama Thornton is "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog."
Wow. Because they remixed that song, and that was great when the Elvis movie came out. That was like really good.
Right. So this you never know, right? You never know. So let's talk a little bit about were you in any sports other than swimming?
Well, I will tell you, I was a first baseman who couldn't catch. I was a tight end who couldn't block. I was a basketball player who couldn't shoot.
So you were me. So you were me.
Exactly. So I actually loved swimming.
Put your hand in every all the sports.
So I realized I wasn't very good at the other one, so I had to stick with the pool. But I loved it, and it's actually great.
And swimming works out all your muscles. Yeah, it's one of the sports. It's one of the sports that work out everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here
neck, back, arms, legs, feet.
It's great for you, and I actually recommend it to patients all the time.
Okay.
Here in Savannah, like some people don't really know this, the coach of the Georgia Coastal Aquatic Team over at the Aquatic Center,
Yeah.
his name is Bill Forrester, bronze medalist in the 1976 Olympics.
Wow.
And he was the captain of the 1980 Olympics, that the United States didn't go to. But you've got someone like that who's coaching kids. He's had so many college kids
And
come
my
out
wife
of his
used
program.
to go over there all the time, the aquatic center.
It's amazing. And there's another coach I used to coach with, and this is a great story, a guy, Bill Pilchuk. And he used to be the SCAD swim coach, and he also coached at the aquatic center.
I didn't even know SCAD had a swim coach.
Yeah, they've got a great, for a couple of years, they would win their collegiate division. I think NAIA. They would win it, every year. But he lives here in Savannah, and he, in 2000, was the fastest swimmer in the world. Yeah, and he's right here, and he's the most humble guy. Yes, you would never know.
Right here.
Yes, and
What's his name?
Bill Pilchuk.
Mr. Mr.
He's
Bill.
fast.
I'm gonna be calling you.
I tried swimming with him in the pool one time.
It was a wrap.
Yeah. So it was same with Bill Forster, and he's probably 20, maybe 15 years older than me. I don't know what, but
No trouble.
I tried keeping up with him in the pool. He's half fish. Like he's the real
Really?
Aquaman. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But sometimes you're right when you talk about Savannah. There's so many unknown
people.
heroes here. They're here.
It's we have celebrities that I didn't know that actually live here. And I mean, in Savannah, but you don't really see them.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them, it's their East Coast house, if you will.
Yeah.
A vacation home, but then you still.
Well, speaking of swimming, Ricky, I don't know if you're going to join me, but on December 31st, they're doing the polar plunge out there at Tybee.
Going in the cold water? Yeah, you could count me in. I'll be there. Well, my soul will be there, but I'm not getting in that. Doc, you getting in that water?
No, I'm not. I just.
I'm not getting in that.
That's cold. That is cold.
I don't even put ice in my water. Now, I don't like the cold, Doc. I'm tropical. Grew up some in Albany, New York, and Patterson, New Jersey, and
So that's
some
cold.
Yeah, but some of my family said, well, Rick, when you moving back? I said, when y'all have an 80-degree Christmas day, I'll move back that year.
Hey, last night it was cold. It was
Yeah,
20 degrees.
But it's not going to have an 80-degree Christmas day in New York or New Jersey.
That
If
is
we
true.
do, yeah, it's close. We're close to the end at that point. So, man, we have a Christmas parade coming up. Are you going to the Christmas parade?
I am going to be there. You know, that's one of the things Savannah always does. They've always got such great parades. You know, the St. Patrick's Day parade is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The Veterans Day parade.
Yep.
It was great. We just were there for that. And this one they have this Saturday, they're going to have all the cars with the lights on it. They've got Santa.
Okay.
You know, they got people throwing candy, you know, from each of the things. And, you know, one of your other guests, Mayor Johnson.
Yeah.
He is going to be in that parade.
My first episode, I said when I kick this off, I got to do it right. And so Mayor Van Johnson was my first. Thank you again, brother.
Well, he really is a great guy. He doesn't really know who I am. Like,
Yeah.
I remember meeting him years ago, you know, having lunch at Skylar's, but a few months ago, I got to meet him again.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the one great thing about Savannah is people are always having functions or
All kind of
conferences
events.
and he's great because he'll attend all of them.
Every
And,
one. So we had a basketball tournament this past week. And so I hit him up. I'm like, Mike would like you to present, you know. And he was like, okay, I got 4 other events. I'm going to see if I can swing through. So during his other events, he left one of the events to come do his thing with Mike and then end up having to go back to his event. So first, we appreciate that, right?
That's great.
And
See, that's the
just to
kind
show-
of guy he is.
That's him. And him and my wife are always just like, yeah. But that's just Savannah's just filled with good people, man.
Well, I saw him at this event and, you know, during like one of the speeches, I think the speaker was getting, you know, pretty long-winded and stuff. And the food at this event was great. And so I kind of, you know me, I can't resist some delicious food. I gravitated
my barbecue
towards
brother.
the back. Oh,
You my barbecue brother.
without a doubt. But they had all these, a table full of cookies. They had macadamia chocolate chip. I mean, I know it was really good. And yes, even as a chiropractor, I can't resist Baker's Pride or, you know, some of those cookies, a good
Alan.
sugar syrup. But at the back table, Mayor Van Johnson, he was listening to the speaker, but he was right there near the cookie table too. And as I was looking at it, he saw me checking it out and he said, you know what? That one's good. That one's good. That one's good.
A great recommendation from the mayor.
I had to take him. And so as I'm putting just a few in my pockets, I noticed he had a couple of crumbs on the outside of his jacket too.
Excuse me, man, that's some oatmeal raisin.
But it was so funny. And, you know, like I said, I think it's actually great that he goes to, you know, so much
Yeah,
of that.
he does a lot for the city. And again, I'm honored to call him mayor, more honored to call him
he's
more
a great
honored to
mayor.
call him my brother. So yeah.
Well, you know, speaking of sporting events, I don't know if you know this, and it's only happening next week. I don't know if will be aired, you know, by then. But there's a team from Savannah. They were the West Side Whippers, but
Remember?
gravitated. They have a team called the Savannah River Dogs,
Okay.
undefeated this whole season, and
Football, baseball, basketball, football. Okay.
These kids are amazing, dynamite. And one of the girls who used to work in my office, her son plays for the team.
Okay.
So they put together a great thing to send these kids. They're going to Naples, Florida.
That's cool.
Next week, they're going to be gone the whole week, but it's for nationals.
That's cool.
So
That's good
They
stuff.
won it last year. So it's, you know, you don't really realize out of a small city like Savannah, I mean, compared to, you know, Atlanta, Miami,
Right,
you
right.
know,
That
New
they-
York, to win nationals with a bunch of kids straight out of here, that to me is pretty cool.
That shows his talent here, baby.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's
Without
talent
a doubt.
here. It is talent here. So, one of your favorite vacation places would be?
I like the Bahamas. I know it's not fancy. It's not is it
I
too
love
out
it.
there. Back in October, my wife and I, Julie, we got to go with the Savannah Bananas on a cruise ship to the Bahamas. And
Really?
yes, it was
Fun, I know.
the funnest thing. And, I thought it was just going to be a couple different fans that would be on the boat with them. The owner of the Bananas, he is a genius, Jesse. He had 2,500. The whole boat was banana fans. If you were working on that boat, you were wearing a Savannah Bananas or Party Animals jersey.
That's
And
cool.
they made it so it was literally the most enjoyable vacation. And we went to the Bahamas, and they were supposed to play like a wiffle ball game on the Bahamas, but it was right when all those storms were kind of
Right.
hitting. So they couldn't get, but the amazing thing is, even though that boat was rocking, like it was like the Titanic, the baseball players were doing drill competitions up in the basketball areas, like
Wow.
throwing, catching, like the players are the most amazing athletes. And it was great to watch.
It is super hard to get a Savannah Banana ticket.
Oh yeah, I mean they're
What? You could probably get a Michael Jackson Prince ticket, Beyonce and Taylor Swift ticket quicker than you could get a Savannah Bananas ticket.
last year they sold out every game they
Every
had.
one.
We went to go watch them in Miami. They sold out 48,000 tickets.
I
And
was,
they
I
went
was trying to take my grands, but sold out.
I will hook you up, Ricky. I work for him, so I'm definitely very
Got it.
blessed that I get to spend some time with some of those players and those
we
athletes.
get to go to Savannah Bananas.
Yeah, and they'll let you know I'm a horrible baseball player too. That's
Stop. I bet you were really good at some of those sports though too. I don't know, dog.
no. Sometimes you can be modest about it, but
I feel like that's what you're doing. I feel like you being modest.
just like you said, this podcast is about being truthful.
Facts. So in your time, your 27, 30 years here in Savannah area, what is some of the changes on the positive side that you've seen?
Well, I mean, one thing is SCAD. I mean, some people have different opinions about the school, but I think what Miss Wallace has done here in Savannah is amazing. Like some of the buildings that they have renovated really have, been brought back to life. So I think that is amazing. I do think Savannah really does have, one of the best parks and recs department of any city I've ever lived in, because those guys are out there making the city beautiful. I
Right.
mean, to me, that really is one of the things that, goes hand in hand with, a beautiful place to live. Sometimes they don't get all the credit for taking care of the trees, the lawns. I mean, you go out to Forsyth Park now, it looks like a green ocean.
Yeah, beautiful.
It really is. So, I think the leadership of the city has really embraced, that part of it. And I don't know, I still feel like I'm on vacation here. I mean, the food, in Savannah, you could go so many places, get great meals.
What's your favorite restaurant? Okay, I'm gonna give you some questions and tell me this. Favorite breakfast spot?
It's actually going to be Sunrise on Wilmington Island.
Okay.
It's great. The food is delicious. My son always orders a 5-egg omelet, and they make it for him.
That's
and this
me.
thing,
That's me.
it looks giant. They put it on the plate. No
That's-
questions asked.
A 5-egg omelet or shrimp and grits?
Shrimp and
That's me.
grits.
I'm a shrimp and gritsologist. I actually work for the National Association of Shrimp and Grits across America. So what we do... Okay,
How
wait.
can I be a member?
Wait, you just said it's about honesty, so I really don't do that, but I want to do it if y'all hiring.
You should start something.
Who knows? Shrimp and grits around town. All right, favorite lunch spot.
That's a tough one because there's a lot of really good places, but hands down right now, the Chicken Box. Have you ever eaten there?
No, where is it?
Right next door to Paula Dean's restaurant.
Really?
Jamie Dean, the son, he has a restaurant there that it is literally delicious, and it is like for $8.99. And I guess I don't mind putting a plug in for him because it is so good. You get 2 giant pieces of chicken. You get 2 cheese biscuits. I know it's so good. And
Mouth-watering.
yes, and a drink. And where can you get that?
For that
Savannah.
amount.
Yes. And then they've got the plates, and it's literally the food from inside the yams. It is great. I mean, I actually can only go there for lunch if I know I'm not working the afternoon, so I won't be too heavy for all the afternoon patients.
Favorite dinner spot?
Oh, I got a lot of my. I don't want anyone to feel left out. But I would say
Okay,
the place.
let me rephrase that. One of your favorites. So
One of the favorite places to go to. There's a place on Wilmington Island called Cilantro's.
okay.
Great Mexican food, delicious. But I also like Tequila Town right near my office. Again, tremendous Mexican food. And right next to my office tonight, I guess today's December 7th,
Yeah.
there's a restaurant opening. So I'm going to try it out. It's a soft opening.
Okay.
If you want to go, you can check it
The
out.
place that was next to you was the Italian restaurant.
Yes.
Are they
So-
still there? They're gone now.
There's been a couple restaurants back there, and each one has had its own,
Thing.
success. Like there was Liocchi's that was there, delicious food. I mean, amazing. But poor Roberto, he opened 2 restaurants. He was at Pachi's and he had Liocchi's, and I mean, I was there. The mayors would be there. I met Danny Glover in there.
Really?
Yes. But having 2 restaurants, I mean, a chef can only be in one kitchen at a time. And I think that was too tough for him. But it was a great barbecue place years ago. People might remember that. And even another Italian place came in after Liocchi's, which was good. It was called Cuco Pacho. I'm not too sure the Italian translation, other than maybe it means it's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So tonight, a new Italian restaurant is good. It's been dormant for about a year.
Okay.
A new Italian restaurant is going in there. So check it out.
Check it out, man.
Yeah.
You and I went to a place on Habersham.
Oh, yeah. That was delicious.
I don't. You remember the name?
Yes,
of it?
that was tacos and tequila.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Tacos and tequila. Right
Yes.
there off Habersham in 30 something.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Great parking, great food. Oh my
Great
gosh.
parking. So
Yeah.
me and Doc going out. Me and Doc going out to lunch, and I said, "Where you want to meet?" He said, "Meet me here." I said, "Okay, cool." So I'm there and I'm waiting, and this is how down to earth this guy is. He pulls up on his bike, like his 10 speed. He rode his 10 speed from his office, and I'm like, man, this dude making me look bad. I live next door, and I drove my car. And he rode his bike way from his office to here. But that was cool, too, I remember, because I'm like, yo, he's really making sure he get his time in, right?
No parking tickets. And
Never
they're giving
get
me
a
my
parking
license
ticket.
back in 2 weeks anyway. No, but
that's
actually,
funny.
Savannah is such a great city to ride a bike around because it is really nice. Like, I see something different every time I'm riding around.
Yeah.
You do got to watch out. Like, we were talking about what sends people into the office. Sometimes riding that bike and someone opens up that car door. Yeah. It's like out of with the transporter.
It's slow
Fast and
motion.
Furious. Oh, yeah. So,
So,
well, wait, what's your favorite place to eat? Yeah, I should be asking you some questions here.
okay, let's see. Other than Resort Swans, that's my wife.
Shea Swan.
I do like I said that I like shrimp and grits, and I wasn't kidding. B. Matthews,
Yeah.
5 Spots. To me, they have the best shrimp and grits that I've tasted yet.
See, it's sometimes tough to pick just one.
But see, they're sister properties.
Oh, really?
Yeah. B. Matthews and 5 Spots. It's one on Habersham and it's one in Sandfly.
Have you had the shrimp and grits out on Tybee? It's Bubba Gumbo's. It's like right up there. It's good. It's good.
The only thing I can remember that I had in Tybee, it was a hot dog spot that's a pool hall. I think quarter dogs or the quarter bar?
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember those hot dogs, and I hadn't been on the island in years.
But you got to go to North Beach Grill. That's actually really good.
Okay.
The guy out there, George,
Did he used to own George?
Yes.
The restaurant out
Yep.
there?
Yep.
Okay.
So, and that food is actually really good.
Okay.
And they got this jerk chicken. It's jerk and sandwich. And they've got these sweet potato fries. They
See, Doc.
I know I'm supposed to be talking about healthy stuff.
No, that's healthy. Like I can taste it now. So what is you and the wifey? Let's say we got a free Saturday. What is a Saturday like? Is it something we get up and we go to Orlando for a couple of days for the weekend? Do we get up and we go around the park and then come home and watch TV? Do we just chill? What is downtime for the doc like?
I would say we try to have a lazy Saturday. I mean, nothing too exciting and stuff like that. You know,
after the hustle bustle week, you kind of want to just.
But she'll tell you one of my favorite things to do is, even though it is some downtime, to go on a bike ride. I always try to get her to go out kayaking, or I love just walking around downtown, and that's. I always get the eye roll, and Julie, I know you're probably going to watch this. She always says, "Oh, the walking downtown," and she will get to the point where, like, if we're going to maybe go out and have something, like tonight, we're going to go try out the new restaurant,
right?
And I may convince her to go down a little bit early, walk around.
So we're going to walk after the food or before?
Probably before, because I think it's going to be cold tonight. So that.
Yeah, we don't need that, Miss Whelan. We don't need that. I'm with you this one.
But, I also, honestly, I love doing my own yard work. And I've got a bunch of friends who, have their own landscaping companies. But to me, that is, when you're kind of doing your own lawn, putting down the ryegrass seed, I've actually even talked to Sean about this. If you do it on your own like that, it's nice,
Yeah.
And, I do get help. I won't lie. From time those Carolina vines are the worst,
man.
And that sends people to my office too, trying to pull those things
landscaping
up.
stuff.
Yes,
yeah. So I'm gonna ask you some questions, and I'm gonna give you some names, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say these names. Okay?
Yes.
Will Smith.
Will Smith. He was in town. He filmed a movie here, and he was actually great because he sent a bunch of the stunt guys into the office.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, and he actually, the guy who used to drive his cars, and Will Smith's got a couple of them, but he was like his driver. He would come in, and the guy's name was Spark. Oh, I probably not supposed to say this.
No, that's fine.
He super nicest guy, and he actually got me to be in the movie. Yes, that they filmed here.
So you're in a movie too.
I mean, you can barely see
one?
me. They want people to see it. Gemini Man.
Okay.
So if you see the part where it's supposed to be Virginia, but they filmed downtown Savannah.
Okay.
They put me in the police car, driving the police car around looking for Will Smith or one of the assassins to show up.
So not only are we speaking to a doctor, but we are speaking with the world-renowned actor who has co-starred partner First to First.
No.
With Will Smith.
This is a truthful podcast. No,
okay.
I was just driving the car, driving around.
So not only do we talking to the doctor, but we're talking to somebody who's been in the movie with Will Smith.
Like I said, and I got to work on a stunt double, which was great. I mean, super, super, super nice. I know some of the stuff happened with the Oscars and stuff. I think he had a bad night, but
I met him some years back when I was working at the Ballantyne Resort in Charlotte. So he came through, and at the Ballantyne, I was executive concierge. So all the celebrities that came through, I was their 24-hour guy.
Gotcha.
Like they had my number, I had their people's number, and if they needed anything, I was the liaisons between the celebrity and the resort. So he came through. I met him at his car, escorted him to his room. He came on the elevator, beatboxes. It was just.
Well, I mean, I have to tell you, I do love some of his music. I mean, you gotta love, Bienvenido a Miami.
Yeah, right. And, I mean, who doesn't love Parents Just Don't Understand?
Oh, well, yes, that classic song.
Classic.
As a Falcons fan, I do like We Are the Men in Black and Red.
So, Falcons fan.
Yes, love the Falcons.
How are they doing right now?
I like the new coach. Great guy. We're on a little bit of a skid right now.
Okay,
I think we lost 3 in a row, but we're still leading the NFC South. So with
So that's
today's
gotta be
December,
saying
at
something.
December 7th, we're
But
still
that's
in
got to
first
be
place.
saying something.
Oh,
you
yeah.
lost 3 and still winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it does help that the Panthers and Saints and Bucks are in our division.
So heavy sports fan are you?
I love it. Yeah, yeah.
Which football, baseball, basketball? Which is your favorite sport to watch?
I would say that's actually a great question. Had to be basketball. Only because basketball, it's always moving like, March
Constantly.
Madness, I'm a Hawks fan, which they beat the Lakers the other night, which was pretty crazy.
Were the Lakers rated higher than them?
The Lakers
higher?
started out amazing for this season, but they've had a tough time too.
Yeah. I don't know anything for sports, Doc. I know zero about sports.
Someone else's birthday today. I'm going to tell you, this is kind of crazy.
Who?
Basketball player Larry Bird.
Celtics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think he was born.
He's a coach now, right? Isn't he?
I think he may be retired, but
Okay.
but he is doing something with basketball.
Yeah.
But he was born in 1955, and the only reason I remember this, I just watched on HBO. There's a great special between the Lakers and the Celtics, and Dr. Buss, who owned the Lakers and stuff. They really did a good job with it. Whoever played Larry Bird,
excellent.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah. But that's kind of like December 7th. So Terrell Owens, Larry Bird, his birthday is tomorrow. You should know this. This will be good. You could use it for trivia.
Okay, who's the 8th? December 8th.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Did not know. Did not know. Rat Pack.
Yeah, the old Rat Pack. And think his song's still playing today.
Still.
Yeah, who would have thought like some of the things that he recorded. Now, I don't know what year he was born.
But just that again goes to putting out a good piece of product that years later people still rocking with it.
So wait, it's 2024 right now. So that means this podcast, if we do a good job today, we're going to be showing it 80 years from.
Come on, I take that. Hey.
Challenge accepted.
I take that. Thank you. Challenge accepted. Doc is foreseeing us being here for 80. I can take that. I can get jiggy with that.
How old are we going to be?
We probably won't see it, but our grands, hopefully our children. Just roll me over. So back to the names. Clint Eastwood.
You're not going to believe this. This is going to sound too coincidental. I can't believe we didn't talk about this at all before. I got to meet him last December, this month. Nicest guy. They always say you have to be careful when you meet your legends, or but couldn't be a nicer person. Couldn't be a nicer person. And if you watch a movie, it just came. It's on Paramount Plus right now,
His
and
son
Amazon.
is acting now too.
Oh yeah, he's a great actor. He's actually, I watched him in some crazy bank robbery movie that he was legit in it.
Yeah.
I think, but the only bad part about that movie is he got in the bad side of Jason Statham. He's one of the
Jason Statham.
But yeah, Clint Eastwood has got a movie, Juror Number 2, and if you go home and watch it today, you're gonna see me in the background of like 5 parts of it.
Again, more acting, Doc.
No, but it's not acting. It's standing around, walking, and not looking at the camera.
Well, that's what some actors do, right? That is so super cool, man.
It's just random. You happen to be there. You happen to be around. And
they probably called you, be like, "Hey, can you do this?"
No, Ricky. They want people to see the movies. This is not the Brad Pitt.
Madonna.
Haven't been in a movie with her.
No, I'm just asking names.
She's got very catchy music. I can't believe she's like same thing. They're still playing her music now. Like if you watch the movie Deadpool and Wolverine,
watch.
One of the funniest fight scenes in the end is they use Madonna's Like a Prayer, and it fits so great. And I did hear some anecdote where Ryan Reynolds actually went to visit her in person and really asked to see if they could use.
Can we use
her
your
song?
music?
Yes. And
He's such a cool dude, man.
Oh yeah, that movie was hilarious.
Ryan Reynolds is just he a cool dude. I like him.
No, he is funny. He's a good guy.
let's see. Mike Costello.
Great guy. I will have to say, I got to play in the Hospital Helps golf tournament last spring. Had a great time. Like I said, not the best golfer. That's also in the sports.
Yeah,
But-
last what it was at Chichesi?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I had put in an auction to get a signed baseball. Braves fan of Chipper Jones. I won the auction, but when I got the ball in the mail, Ricky, and this is amazing. This is the kind of guy he is. It didn't just have Chipper Jones signed on it. It had John Schmaltz. In the other picture, the Braves World Series team. And But so John Smoltz, and this is kind of a little known fact, played for the Savannah Sandgnats when he was rehabbing.
I remember the Savannah Sandgnats.
But
Mike has
Thirsty
connections.
Thursday, you remember Thirsty Thursday?
But Mike has connections,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
But yeah, I have. He gave me a jersey, a Georgia jersey. Of course, he's a huge Georgia fan. It's a Bulldogs jersey signed by the coach Kirby Smart. Like, how great is that?
That's
he's
cool.
he's a good guy.
That's pretty cool.
And it's always funny too because last week Georgia played Georgia Tech and it went to 8 overtimes. Ricky, I mean, it was.
That was we want this. We want it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No one was giving up on that one, and I could only imagine Haas at home watching that. But he texted me right after, or I texted him to say, "Can you believe that?" And I asked him if he's okay, and he said,
okay?
"I think so."
That's funny.
But
yeah, man. So
and I love his commercials. I love you in the commercials. You're asking me all these celebrities. You're the celebrity, Ricky. Like, how many times have we been out and people are like, "I know him." They're
Doc,
staring at you for the whole restaurant.
Doc,
is
I
looking
paid those
at you.
people to do.
That one, I remember she was that young girl. She's like, "Can I have a selfie with you?" And you're like, "Of course." As soon as she did it, all of a sudden there were 10 people around. You're like, "I want a selfie. I want a selfie." So I mean, I think that's great. And you took a picture with all those people. That was fun. Even when we were playing golf, the girl was like, "You look so familiar. I know you, and I know I've heard your voice, but I can't place it." And you were so humble. You're like, I look like a lot of people.
Doc, you know what, man? Honestly, I am. I'm grateful and I'm humbled because it's been 16 years almost, and people don't have to like it, and they do, and so I'm honored, right? Because just as you take your energy to like it, you can also take your energy to not like it.
Yeah.
And so I make sure that I tell people that when when they ask, can they have a picture with me? I'm like, can I have a picture with you? That's most important.
See,
can I get the picture with you? Because I'm not doing you a favor. You're doing me one. Because you really don't have to like me, right? So, but it's fun, man. I can't, it's
well,
fun.
do you take, you asked me before about Will Smith. Do you find that, like, he was always pretty clean with his rapping and stuff like that, always like great beats. Did you pattern some of your raps off of his, or was he an inspiration for you?
I tell people that as far as me rapping, I tell people all the time that I feel like I'm a mixture of a few rappers. And I feel like if you pour these rappers in a blender, you got Clever. I feel like if you pour Will Smith because it's clean. I feel like if you pour Slick Rick because it's a story. I feel like if you pour Eminem because I can change patterns and flows. And I figure if you pour Rakim, because I always try to give you a message. If you pour those 4 people in the blender, you got Clever. Because I like to pull something from each of those guys.
So it's like your drink machine in there.
Yeah.
You've got the things coming into each bottle. Comes in, makes a perfect mix.
Makes the perfect mix. The Clever mix.
Clever mix, I like it.
Clever concoction. I know, right?
You could just change.
But yeah, man, I just decided that I'm gonna keep it clean, man. Keep it clean.
Well, like I said, I mean, I always love it, and it is so funny. I mean, I can't sing, and I certainly can't sing that fast. So I don't know how you can keep that stuff even off the top of your head.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things too. Like, we were out that one time, and there was a whole group of people, and they were putting you on the spot. They're like, give me a rap, give me a lyric. And I couldn't believe, like, what do you want me to rap about? And
yeah. You know what? I have fun, Doc. I wrote my first rap in '79.
wow. So you were like right there at the start of the curve.
Yeah, but but I enjoy it, but I'm not great at it. I'm good enough to get by. Like, I can hold my own in a lot of cases, but yeah. But my daughter is really good. She actually produced my commercials here at the recording studio. She's the producer there.
Does Janae have a rap name?
Zane.
I like it.
And she's nice. And I'm not saying it because it's my daughter. I'm saying it because it's true. Like, I wouldn't say it to her if it was what we do with each other. She and I is, if I write something and say what you think, she'd be like,
that's your best. That's who you can trust.
Right.
Yes.
Because she know that the finished product is gonna have her name on it, and she don't want her name on no trash. So
my wife told me when I did this podcast I did not be doing too much of my goofy laugh.
Listen,
so I'm
Doc, listen, Miss Whelan, we appreciate his time. We appreciate him coming out, and we love Doc to death. Doc, you are not just a chiropractor. I know you are my brother. So, Doc, we're gonna thank you for taking your time coming out.
This is great. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out and chopping it up with us here at Clever Conversations. So, how can tell the people how they can get in touch with you if they needed to get in touch with you, if they need a chiropractor? You got any social media, any of that, phone number? Tell the people how they can get in touch with you if they need to get in touch with you.
I'm pretty old school. We're right downtown, middle of Savannah. You can Google us is probably the best way. Our phone number 912-232-1900. I don't really have Instagram. My Facebook, I think my last post was we're closed for the storm this last summer.
Well, tell the people the correct spelling of your last name so when they look you up, they'll know how to find you on Google.
I'm going to tell it to you, and then I'm going to hope Ricky can put together a little jingle to make it better.
I got you.
It's Whelan Chiropractic.
He told you one time, don't make him tell you again. Whlen. Christopher Whalen. It's my man.
He's amazing.
Listen, so we like to end every episode, Doc, by saying 2 fingers, 1 love.